in this part we will see what are selectors and variables in CSS. So to understand that, I'm going to take some paragraph. Okay, so we have 5 paragraph here and our HTML and CSS is already linked. So I will go inside the CSS and then use p tag, and I will increase its font size to 32 pixel. So as we can see, we have selected all the p. Okay, so now we will take a div. By the way, div is nothing but it just used for the division purpose. It separates things out. So to create a div, I will just write div, and then inside this div I'm going to copy this paragraph 4. So now paragraph 4 is inside the div. Okay, if I will do color red, so all the paragraph will be red, even the one that is inside the div. So it doesn't matter where our tag is, inside another tag or not. So if we say p, then we are referring to all the p which are currently present in our HTML file. So suppose I want to say that this p which is inside a div. So I will first comment this out. So I will say div. So now we have selected the div successfully, and now I can say p. So it means the p which is inside the div, means select the div first and then look for the p. Okay, so if I will do color red this time, only this p is going to be in red color because this p is the only p here which is inside a div. So if we go back in HTML and then copy this one inside it as well, it will be in red color as well. Okay, so if I give it a font size of again 30 pixel so that you guys can look clearly. Okay, so one more thing, we can have multiple div as well. So we have one more div. Okay, and this div has these 2 paragraph. They will be in red color as well because, so we are saying div, it means all the div which is currently present in our HTML file. So we are basically saying, okay, select the div and then select the p tag which is inside of the div, and then apply this red color to it and put font size to 30 pixel. Okay, so now one more thing. Okay, now suppose if we want to select this first p only which is inside the div, meaning the first p of the div, meaning this p and this p. Okay, so I will comment this out. Okay, now we need to select the p which is inside the div, only the first p we are going to target. So we can say something like div and then I can say p, but again I can give a colon and then write first child. So we are going to select the first child only. So this is the first child here before, and this is the first child here. Okay, we also have something called nth child. So we can do nth child 1, which is basically the first child also. So if we will do nth child 2, then we will be selecting these 2, these here and this here, and so on. If we will say nth child 3, since we don't have any third child which is inside of a div, so we are not selecting anyone. If we move this here, we are selecting this because this is the third child now. So this is really helpful, nth child, you should know. And now we are going to go back in HTML, and now I'm going to give it a class. Okay, class of like say p, and I'm going to give everyone a class of p. So okay, so one of them inside the div, and then I want other outside of the div. So I will be saying remove everything. Okay, so this 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, so if I will say select.p, that is select p class. Okay, this in this case we are selecting this class, meaning we are selecting everything, all the p we have. So if I will say same thing, then result are same, we have selected everything. Now I want to say that I want to select the p class which is inside the div. So again we can just write div in front of it and we can select it. But here's the cool thing, if you don't give a space and write something like div.p, it means you are saying select a div which has an ID of p. So if we go in our HTML, we see that we have a div but we don't have any ID. So if I will give it an ID of suppose say p, so then we are selecting this, because if you don't give a space, you are basically saying select a div which has an ID of p. So if you give it a space, then you are saying okay, select a div first and then go inside that div. Okay, meaning select the div this is a div, okay, select it and then go inside. Look here, if you find something which has the ID of P inside that div, then select that thing. And that is the big difference here. You guys should understand. Okay, so I think this is enough about the selectors. Now we are going to see something called variables in CSS. So I will be commenting this one as well, and then I will uncomment this one. I want to make all P big. Okay, so variable. Why do we need variable? First of all, so as we can see, if we give it a color, like say we give it this color, maybe I will have one. Okay, so this is hex code, and we don't want to all the time write like color and then hash and then all the thing like 62, or we don't want to copy paste all the time as well. So what we can do, we can basically store this hex value inside a variable. So how can we do that? Start with a colon and then type root, okay, like this, and then curly bracket. Now double dash, okay, and then you need to write a word. It can be anything. So since it's purple type color, so I'm going to write purple, P-U-R-P-L-E. Okay, so and then we will give a colon and then a semicolon, and now I'm going to copy this hex code over here, this purple. Okay, so now we have a variable called purple and we can use it. So how we will use it? We will directly use it, like we will write color and then we want to refer to that purple thing. So we will write var and then parenthesis and then double dash, and then we can write purple, like this. So this is how you can easily use variable, and you can declare more than one, of course. So we can have a variable for like say red as well, red color. So if I will write red directly, then make a color. So suppose this is my red, and now I want to make my paragraph 3 line. Let's give it id of 3 p3. So now I want to make my p3 red, so I will write dot p3. Okay, and then I can directly refer to the variable using var. So I will write color and then var and then double dash and then red. So this is somewhat red now, need more bright. Yeah, so this is how we declare variable and this is how we use it. Hope you guys understood this quick video. Thank you so much for watching.